Which do you think are the chances that we live in a simulation right now? I'm 100% convinced that we are. I'm a huge believer in the law of attraction and always have been. Lich in The Matrix, well worth a watch, and someone I interviewed mentioned that what we think about and feel is repeated in our experiences as a way to save on processing power in the simulation. Apparently there's only around 100,000 real people, and the rest are NPCs. I find the whole thing very, very believable. I think it's almost a 100 possibility. Think about how much technological progress we've made in the last 100 years. Do you doubt that in 1,000 years we could build a massive simulation of beings that believe they're sentient? And if we could, how many would we make? One? No, we'd make thousands. So what are the odds that we're the one real universe and not one of the thousands that could be made by an advanced society? Statistical analysis using AI can probably answer this question. Less the simulation is completely unbiased or has no external intervention as it's running. Scientific studies could be conducted on large amounts of data to determine if this is actually the case, depending on the type of study and design. Human reporting error could be an issue. It's kind of irrelevant. The universe is the universe. Wondering if someone made the universe in a different universe is really just asking what the origin of existence is and if there is a God, just like people have always been asking. If you're talking about a smaller scale simulation like The Matrix, then no, we probably are not. I think that the universe we know would be too much data for any simulation, cause it's not like there's a rendering distance like on PC. Every subatomic particle is independently existing, so you would be constantly rendering every tiny piece of universe simultaneously, not to mention every independent thought that each person has. Even Christian belief system is literally suggesting we are a simulation, a higher being created a universe of a lower plane. We live it while trying to be good citizens, but realistically just highly oppressive towards non-believers, and then we get to be on a higher plane of existence if he selects us. I think the syncretism of science fiction and suppositions from illustrious scientists is intriguing. If we live in a simulation, the creator is not equitable nor benevolent, and we arrive back at the postulations of the early Christian mythology. I think someone made the analysis that if a simulated reality can exist at all, then there would be way more simulated worlds than actual ones. You could pretty much be certain that you were in one of the simulated worlds. It's maybe possible as a theory. Possibility of it being real is something else entirely. I give it diminishingly small percentage simply due to the complexity required. Occam's razor works with this too. I think. Then likely, and it is an untestable hypothesis, since if we were in a simulation we would be working within the confines of that simulated reality with no outside reality against which to test it. I think there are an infinite number of experiences identical to the one I'm having now which are simulations, and an infinite number which are not. I'm not sure if a probability can be determined. You think I haven't tried computer ArchN program a time or two? Sadly, this is the only consistent reality that's presented itself to my brain, so I guess I'll have to make the best of it. Technology is advancing so much I often wonder if I live in a simulation right now. Just looks how games evolve, and also new Apple VR set. I really feel scared about what is coming. Error. Stack Overflow. Delete this comment and sanitize inception point. Erase from 0 to 756031342 immediately afterward. Run sim 40 to mine 14 01 wa 01 wa 01 wa 01 wa 01 wa 01 Owa, Owa, 01 wa, Towa, 010. Restart. I saw a truck with random colored replacement panels and a bunch of random stuff in the back. It was being followed by the exact same truck. A perfect match in every way. Impossible. I think the fact we live in a universe, and possibly a multiverse that has matter that supposedly cannot be created or destroyed, but exists, is far more troubling of a question. Not a simulation, but firmly believe there are fourth-dimensional beings surrounding us that we can't see that may be potentially influencing our decisions. I actually watched a video about that earlier today. I honestly have no idea. I struggle to believe what I can't see with my own eyes though. Almost every 80s kid KNOWS that Sinbad made a genie movie called Shazam that doesn't exist in this is going on. How have you been on Reddit for 2 years? And you have 8 comment karma, and post had 40 upvotes in the first 5 minutes. Theoretically, it is highly unlikely that we don't live in a simulation. Refer to Our Mathematical Universe by Max Tegmark. Even if it's a simulation, it's way too real. We aren't even facing any glitches. I'd say if it is, then it's really a good one. Doesn't matter either way. Things are real to us. As if we're in the simulation, everything else is simulated too. The universe is more intelligent than a simulation. Nothing can compete with the level of detail of the universe. Laws of probability say that somewhere there 100 is, or will be simulations as real as what we are experiencing. I didn't believe life was a simulation until I started doing drugs. Now I'm like 60 sure it's a simulation. Maybe the universe is analogous to a giant computer, but it's just that an analogy, aka partial similarity. Fairly low since I can't open the console and enter the motherlode cheat a few hundred times. Always were. It's always been Wonkashim. This vid covered it quite thoroughly for me. 0, if it wasn't for the Matrix movies, you wouldn't even be using the word simulation. The same as if simulations were living in their real world. This was generated by chat. 50-50, we are. Or we are not. What matters is what would change if you knew for sure. I'm kind of hoping someone out there trips over the power cord and we get a reboot. Too many coincidental things happen to me too often to think we aren't in a sim. Statistically speaking, there's a bigger chance that we're not in base reality, So there is a possibility that my bank statement is not in negative numbers. Pretty good. And if we are, it's likely within another simulation and so on. If we live in a simulation, but I know one thing. We live in a society. No idea. But if this is a simulation, it's being run by Sid from Toy Story. According to NDT, the odds are 50-50 and he's okay with that, so I am too. Magnitudes higher than our chance of living in the original base reality. Better than literal magic existing, and billions of people believe that. There's an easy way to find out. Just force quit the game. One day I said out loud, end simulation. That did nothing.